Something big is happening right now in Cameroon, a nation of over 27 million people with breathtaking landscape, vibrant culture, and a spirit of resilience now find itself in the grip of uncertainty, tension, rage, fear, and above all, silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence that comes when the nation holds its breath because of one man. A man who has ruled for over 4 decades with an iron fist. A man who refused to let power go. A man who at age 92 years old has just announced in January that will be running for the October 2025 election, seeking for another team. His name is Paul Biya. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Biya's world. A man who came to power, people were giving birth to, people have died, and he still remains in power. The president who never leaves or go to transfer, as some call him. To understand the storm shaking Cameroon today, you need to go back to where the story begins. To have Paul Biya rise to power, the rise of Paul Biya, the silent strategies. It was in 1982, Ahmadou Ahidjo, the then Cameroon first president, shocked the world by stepping down. His replacement was a calm, quiet autocrat named Paul Biya, who was then the prime minister under Ahidjo's government. At first, it seems like a peaceful, soft-spoken, educated in France, seen as obedient. But Paul Biya was no man's puppet. Within 2 years, he has stripped Ahidjo's allies of power, exiled his predecessor, Ahmadou Ahidjo, and cemented himself as the unchangeable ruler. In 1984, a coup attempt rocked Yaoundé, the country's capital. He has crushed it. From that moment, he declared a state of emergency, closed the country, and from that moment forward, he never lost grip of power. The constitution was rewritten to suit one man and one man's purpose. As Africa entered a new democratic era in the 1990s, Cameroon were being dragged into the wave of multi-party system, multi-party reform. Opposition parties were allowed, but however, the system were always rigged. The election were held, the victory were already decided, days, months, even years before the election day. Still, then, however, the constitution remained a safeguard of a 7-year two-term limit. Then came in 2028 when Paul Biya pushed a bill to the parliament to abolish term limits in order to consolidate power to himself. The parliament approved the bill. Protests erupt, massive anger, and loud rejection. From Buwala to Bamenda, students, teachers, workers took to the street. The people chanted, Biya must go. We are not your slave. No to lifetime presidency. But Biya didn't finish. Instead, he sent the military. He responded with tear gas, live bullets, and massive crackdown. The crackdown was swift and deadly. Over 100 people were killed. 100 were arrested. Caution and silent. In the end, the constitution was changed. Biya stayed again and again. Even more deadlier was the Bureau war within the very soul of Cameroon. You see, Cameroon is related to the two countries in one. The Francophone majority in the north and the Anglophone minority in the south. The roots go deep back to the colonial days. France controlled the north while British controlled the south. In 1961, British Southern Cameroon voted to join the French-speaking Republic of Cameroon under a promise of federalism, but the federalism never came. The Anglophone region watched as their courts, school, and leader were replaced by French system. Their voices were silenced. Then, in 2016, it exploded. The Anglophone lawyers, teachers, students, workers took to the street, demanding respect for their system, their language, and their rights. Biya's response, as usual, was violence, oppression, and crackdown. Peaceful protests were met with beating and internet blackouts. By 2017, things had turned into a full-blown insurgency, and separatist groups declared the Anglophone region of Cameroon an independent state of Ambazonia. The military responded with full force. Villages were burned down, schools were shut down, civilians were caught in the middle of the war. Over 6,000 lives lost. More than 750,000 people displaced. A war that many outside the country didn't even know it was happening. And still, Paul Biya said nothing. Biya has not ruled the nation alone. Behind him is a vast network of corrupt businessmen, loyal military generals, a parliament that understands his every move, ministers that are under his control, and a system of patronage that reward loyalty and crush dissent. His party, the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM, has held power since the one-party days. Election has staged. Opposition figures like Maurice Kante are jailed. Social media platforms are often shut down during election. And Paul Biya himself spent time in Switzerland than in Cameroon, governing from luxury hotel while his people suffer. But something new is happening in 2025. The resistance is not just coming from the streets, it's coming from the inside palace. People who once helped Biya's rule. For the first time in decades, men who stood by Paul Biya's side have turned against him. These are not just ordinary politicians, these are men who once helped him rule, who once defended his decision, his repression, and his silence. But now they want him gone. Insider like Issa Churuma Bakari, who was once Biya's fiercest spokesperson, the man who stood on national TV and told the world the internet shutdown were necessary, the protests were destabilizing the nation, that Biya was the rock of Cameroon, has now come out to say, I can no longer defend a regime that has lost its moral compass. He stepped down from the government and announced his candidacy for presidency. Another insider, like Bello Buba Mangari, who was once Biya's trusted prime minister, a giant in the political ring from the north. For 40 years, he has walked a tightrope supporting the president while holding together the northern reality. Now, he too has broke rank and said, Cameroon cannot belong to one man. It's time for generation change. Even insiders like Akremuna, Joshua, Eric, Libby are beginning to feel the pain. The 2025 election may very well be a turning point, or it may be a deja vu, just like before. The opposition is divided. The Electoral Commission is compromised. The security forces are only loyal to one man and one regime. And Paul Biya is betting on one thing, that the people are too afraid to try, too divided to rise. But something is shifting. Young people of younger generation and Biya's old generation are rising up. The diaspora are speaking. International pressure is mounting. Old silence house is cracking. The question is no longer will Biya run again. It's now will Cameroon let him run? Cameroon is bleeding, however, it's not broken. It's waiting for justice, freedom, and a dynasty to fall. And the world is watching. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and help me share to enable me create more content and build more on it. Thank you.